Councilwoman Chambers-Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm also going to be a no vote tonight, and like the people who have spoken before me, I too understand the desire to make sure our public space is accessible to everyone. And I too believe that all of us have a right to share and enjoy our public space. But I also believe that this ordinance is not going to accomplish that. As the people who spoke before me have said, there are laws on the books that could be used to address the challenges that folks have suggested this ordinance meant to address. Things like ensuring that everyone can walk freely on our sidewalks and that an individual isn't allowed to create public health or public safety issues in public spaces. There are at least 3 laws in the books that ensure our public rights of way remain clear. KRS 525-140 is a state law which prohibits someone from obstructing a highway or a public passage, and public passage is defined very similarly to how it is in this ordinance. Additionally, there are 2 Louisville Metro codes of ordinances that address specific behavior that could lead to obstructing a sidewalk, a street, an alley, or a public way. I have those citations if anyone would like to see them. There are also numerous laws to ensure that everyone can enjoy our public space. I have a list of about 10 here. I'm just going to read excerpts from a couple. Disorderly conduct in the 2nd degree, prohibit anyone from creating a hazardous or physically offensive condition by any act that serves no legitimate purpose in a public space. We have harassment laws, which say no one in a public space shall make offensively coarse utterances, gestures, or displays, or address abusive language to any person present. We've heard concerns about people with substance use issues, leaving needles, things like that. Loitering under state law prohibits someone from remaining in a public place for the purpose of unlawfully using a controlled substance. So the laws on the book offer all of the tools needed to address the challenges the sponsors seek to solve. And we aren't utilizing the potential of the rules we already have, and I would hope that we would all be suspect of creating new laws and new rules when the old ones aren't being enforced or used to their potential. When I asked earlier about the value add of this new law, I was given an answer about how this is going to set a community standard around how we are supposed to share our public space. But I'm not sure how this new law will set community standards better or differently than these other long-standing laws have. I also truly believe this law isn't going to solve any of the problems it sets out to. Let's be clear that this ordinance authorizes the city to fine poor people. For people with very few possessions, monetary fines will be ineffective at changing their behavior. I think even the sponsors acknowledged that earlier, because they have nowhere else to go and no other options to take. But although these fines will not benefit the public, they will not change any behavior, they will hurt our most vulnerable neighbors. The city can bring collection action for unpaid fines. They can garnish someone very minimal wages. A person can be kept out of housing until outstanding fines are paid. Even if the city never takes a collection action, a person is left worried that any day the city will come and take some of the few things they might have when they finally start to get their footing. If someone tries to appeal these fines, they'll go to civil court where they have no right to an attorney and no ability to challenge the appropriateness, execution, or legality of these fines. Courts that have considered similar types of ordinances have found that they are often applied in unconstitutional ways, and our vulnerable neighbors are unlikely to know how to protect their rights in these circumstances. At the end of the day, I have the same question I still had earlier. What is the purpose of this ordinance actually? If it's not just to fine people who are poor, there are other laws in the books we could utilize and other strategies we haven't fully examined. Because I'm worried about the constitutionality of this law, and quite frankly, the message it sends to our most vulnerable residents about their value and their place in our community. I'll be a no vote tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Fox.